Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Live with Alan and Greg and our guest, Nicole from Nicole's Bookish Nook. Say hello,
Hello.
everyone.
Hi. I think it's my second time.
Yes, we're glad to have repeat guests.
Yeah.
We've invited a lot of people on the show over. Alan, we've been doing this almost 3 years.
Oh,
It's going to be our third
Not-
year coming up next month.
What? 3
Finished
years?
2 years. We're going on
Oh,
to our
yeah.
third year.
Right, yeah,
Nice.
November, right?
Have we done it already? I don't know. I'll have to go check. Oh well. Welcome back, Nicole.
Yeah.
Either way. So how is everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I'm good. I'm a little toasty, so I might have to take off my plaid. But this was the vibe for work. Let me get my Wicked shirt showing. Oh wait, it's this way.
What does it say? I can't quite read it.
And
The
this
meeting
meeting could
couldn't.
have been an email.
Yeah.
I love
I heard
that.
that about business people. They always have to go to these meetings and that meeting, and it's like, yep, all these meetings, huh?
Yeah, just give
Just
me a
do it on-
ring. Give me a direct message, an email. Yeah. Does this need to be an hour meeting?
So are you in the corporate world, Nicole?
No, it's just so many people love meetings. Even when I was working retail, the assistant managers and managers had meetings almost every day. We're on the floor. We need to be selling products. You say that we're low, even though we always hit our goal. Meetings.
Of course.
I don't know. What can we do? More meetings. What you can do to sell more, even though we're hitting the goal every time.
Well, Nicole, I used to be a computer programmer, and we had so many bloody meetings about what people wanted to do. The good thing was once we started working from home, I had like a dual screen monitor. I was programming on one and following the meeting on the other.
Yeah. That's what I do as well.
You get some funny bosses too, Greg.
Oh, don't. I guess we can. Well, the thing is, people don't like us talking about books right away because they like to join in.
Oh,
But when I was working from home, I like to start my day as early as possible. So I like to start at 6 a.m., because then you're off at like 2:30 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
We had a vice president who loved to roll in around 10 a.m.
lucky.
What?
How lucky of you.
Well, the thing is
10 a.m.
that when it's 6 o'clock for him, he's still going strong. Let's have a meeting and work some more tonight. And I'm going, I've been up since 6 a.m. I'm not going past 4 or 5 p.m. But he would work to 8 a.m., not 8 a.m., 8 p.m. and not have a problem with it.
Oh, like a different maybe circadian rhythm?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more of that one female boss you had who didn't let you guys take breaks, and you had to leave
You
went to the bathroom break. You had to leave a note and stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I need a tinkle.
Yeah. So let's say hi to Lee. Hello, Lee. Lee's on time. Great, Lee. Jess, Book Girl TV is here. Pat, Book Chat with Pat is here. Hello, Pat. And everyone else in the group, hello. You can drop a line if you want to, or just watch in silence.
Oh, you're drinking a cerveza, aren't you? That's a big one.
I am drinking a cerveza. I'm drinking a German beer.
Wow.
A German mug. Now, look very closely at this German mug. You will notice that part of Germany is not on this mug.
Oh, yeah.
This mug was made when there was an East German nation.
Oh, that's antique there.
It is.
So Berlin's not on there? Oh.
Berlin was weird because parts of Berlin were in Western, like they walled it in, the whole wall thing. But that was fun.
So you were there, huh?
No, this came from my wife's father.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was stationed in the military in Broadkreuzschnack. I'm not quite sure if that's the right
Yeah,
place.
I know she was born there.
She was born on an American military base. But until she was 18, she had the option of becoming a German citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's help Kevin. I'm on page 248 of Against the Day.
All right.
How
Wow.
far behind am I? I'm reading too many things at once. You're right on the money, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm only on 213.
Yeah, I'm on 218. So you're right on the money for Against the Day. I've been really enjoying. Well, we'll talk about that later, but I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Greg. God, I don't think I could take another DNF off a recommendation.
But I DNF the two of your favorite books. Well, not
No,
one
well,
of your
I mean,
favorite books, but
that one
you just
was
sort
my
of like.
favorite.
What?
That one, Wake Up Stupid, and I think I suggested the wrong one. Anyway.
Oh, you
I
suggested
like
the wrong book by your former teacher?
Yeah, that's all right though.
All right.
Yeah.
Lee has not made 100 as yet, but I have read 3 other books in between. That's good, Lee.
Yeah, me too. I've finished a few.
Constance is here. Hello,
Hey,
Constance. Okay, Nicole, what's going on with you that you can talk about before we start talking about books? Anything exciting?
Well, I am waiting for my proofreader to send back edits on my 3rd book in the urban fantasy series, and then I get to fix up those edits and then format the book. Yay.
Cool. Yeah.
But, well, I think, at least on my end, the formatter program that I use, Atticus, it did a huge update. Maybe they shouldn't have done it before Christmas, but it kind of broke some things. And then, so I'm just like looking at the group on Facebook, and there's a lot of broken things. I'm just like, I'm going to hold off. Good thing that my proofreader takes 2 weeks because it's not working for most people. But I logged in today and it looks fine. I went into a couple of books and it looks all there. So I'm hoping by next week everything is for sure okay. But this is good timing. Let Atticus figure itself out, and I just have my little mini break where I don't write or edit or anything like that, so I can recharge. But yeah, the planned publishing date is January 3rd, so there is time. It's just you don't want to go last minute. That's especially for something so big. You're like, let's just give myself a little leeway. But sometimes you can't.
Yeah, that's only
give yourself any leeway because a program decides to update before the holidays, and it broke itself.
Well, back in the 2010s, when I got laid off from one of my jobs, and ebooks were really kicking off, I was going to start a ebook formatting business for myself. And back then, it would be just programming in HTML, essentially. Oh. What?
Ow.
Even though I know a wee bit of that.
Well, that's not hard when you're a programmer. And there might have been easier ways, but I got a job, and I figured a regular paying job was a lot easier than going out and having to solicit clients to work with.
Well, formatting books is actually really popular because you are basically doing some coding Atticus, and then there's Vellum and Reedsy and some other ones. Yeah, it's a learning curve.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they didn't have it back in 2008 when Kindle first came in 2010. Like I said, you had professional programmers. Now, the thing is, I would have been eventually put out of business by someplace like Atticus because,
Yeah,
you're still having to pay someone a programmer's salary, and books don't necessarily sell enough to support that kind of background or workers in the back.
Yeah, it is still pretty popular, though. I realized I just want to do all the things. Also, like if I just happen, like for example, me and my proofreader missed 3 typos, and someone sends me those 3 typos. I can fix it, and then I upload the new copy, and in like less than 30 minutes, it's like more like 15 minutes for me at this point. And so then like the new people have a typo-less book whenever they get it, and then if the people that already own an ebook do their updates, then those 3 typos are gone. So
I know the thing that's really curious. I have another guy who published a book, and I bought his ebook. It was 99 cents. You buy your people's ebooks for 99 cents. And he says that whenever he updates, the updates don't go through. He says, since I have a first edition, he says, if you delete the copy that you bought and get a new copy, which is currently free, you'll get all the updates. And I'm going, is he doing something wrong? Because I thought that was supposed to just go through automatically.
I think I don't have a Kindle, but I've had a lot of readers and authors who read a lot say that there's like a specific setting that you can go, and you have to physically go into it and say accept updates
when you publish a book.
Yeah, like within your Kindle, there's you go.
No, that's different one. That is in your actual Kindle. There is an area where you can say accept updates or reject updates.
Yeah.
This one, I think he was saying that Amazon won't take the updates on the older version.
Yeah. There could be some stuff going on there. There's like stuff that they require now that if you don't do it a certain way, then you're just going to be rejected. You're not penalized, but it's not going to go through. But yeah, they're pretty strict with certain stuff. I mean, that makes sense. But yeah, I would have to see what it is. I'm a visual person. Like you can share your screen or like show me in person the problem, and then like I'll get it really fast. I don't know. Maybe that's because I'm a writer. So like you're typing it out and then you see the words and also the speech impediments. I can't spell out words verbally. I have to write it down. Yeah. I can't for the life of me spell words out.
Right.
I don't know why. And then
spell check though. Spell check ever since we had a spell check back, it's been around for decades now. My spelling has gotten better a little bit.
Yeah.
But mine was atrocious.
Yeah, I think there was a restaurant. Well, this is also, I think, how accents are different. Side note though. But this one teacher was a substitute for like 5th graders ish. Like you should know how to spell restaurant, but they couldn't spell it out loud until one kid got it. And then I'm like,
yeah, I mean that's
let me write that down.
Yeah, it's French, but after you misspell it 100 times. But yeah. I can't spell like Chihuahua for the life of me. That's the word I'm constantly going, Chihuahua. Okay, see it.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Also, especially I can't spell especially.
Oh, you can't? Oh, yes.
I get it wrong every time. I think it's the S.
Well, with
Especially.
spell check, that mine at least picks up my usual typos. I always juxtapose M's and B's as my dyslexia. I don't know whether I'm writing in freehand or typing M's and B's. So if I write, Ned, it could end up bad. If I M's and B's, I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah. I have math dyslexia, so the numbers switch for me. So I understand the dyslexia part. You're just like it says 96, and they're like, no, it does not, sweetie. I'm like, but it looks like it's 96. So don't trust me with math. That's all I gotta say. I'm a writer. I'm a reader, not a scientist or a mathematician that goes one ear out the other.
We're bad with math.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to Kaju.
Hey, Kaju.
Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
Hannah's here.
Kevin, great news. I'm in Venice. Oh, don't rub it in. Phallic reference coming back again. Semi-rigid airfoil, gravity, rainbow vibes. He's talking about Against the Day.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee saying hi. And Elaine is here. Hello, Elaine. Okay. We're 16 minutes in. We can start talking about the books that you read. The latecomers just going to have to miss it. So, Nicole, as the guest, you get to talk about your books first.
Well, leaning over here, I'm going to start The Road.
Okay.
Cormac.
We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I only know a couple people that love it, and then everyone else is.
I didn't love it at all. It's not his best by any means, but there's some sick shit in it.
Yeah, we'll see. I have 3 little libraries around my area, and this was in one of the little libraries.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There you go. And actually, it's pretty new. It's not yellow. There's no stains. I got a good deal.
You did.
Thank you very much.
Now, I do like Cormac McCarthy as an author. I do think with No Country for Old Men and The Road and all the ones that he's just not up to his old standards.
See, I like No Country for Old Men fine, but go ahead.
But the thing is that he had published all his main books and he was trying to make money,
Well, he had that 16-year-old girlfriend to support.
That was long before he wrote The Road.
True. Hey, did you see that Leaf by Leaf? I haven't watched it yet, but he claims that Sultry is his the best Cormac McCarthy book.
Suttery. Suttery, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Yeah, what am I saying? Sultry?
Sultry, yeah.
I haven't read that.
I have. I listened to the audiobook. Yeah, I saw Leaf by Leaf. The only problem with Leaf by Leaf videos is they're usually very long.
Yeah.
And very detailed and very, very precise. And if I have not read the book within the past month, I'm a little bit lost here,
Yes, they're taking your echinacea from memory. Christmas is coming. Send you a bottle of echinacea.
So anything else you've been reading, Nicole, that you want to highlight?
Let's see. I have a 4-star read. It's downstairs. I'm so sorry. I forgot to pick it up before I came back up to my office. But it is 355, The Women of Washington's Spy Ring by Kit Sargent. And no one can figure out the actual woman that is 355, but there are 3 women that are most likely 355, and that's part of the New York City Culper ring during the American Revolutionary War. So that's 4 stars, and then I just had a bunch of DNFs in a row, so that's kind of depressing.
You know something? I'm just at the point where if a book's not working for you, it's not working for you.
Yeah.
And if you try to force it, it's going to be worse than
Yeah.
plowing through. I know there are some people out there who absolutely have to read every book they start. Have to
Yeah.
finish every book they start.
I used to be like that, and then I realized life's short. Just read the books that you're enjoying, and you don't need to finish a book that is making you miserable. I've done that before in the past. It's just not for me. I if I bought it, I take it to the little library and someone else is going to enjoy it. That doesn't mean that it's not a good book, but I have limited shelf space, as you can see. We got to just churn through the ones that do not
Well,
work.
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm at the point in life where my basement is so huge. It's just like, if I don't like a book, I just put it on the shelf and say maybe in 5 years I'll like it. It's
Feminism.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, and then I remembered there's a book that I almost DNF. Maybe you guys can come up with one example too, where I was going to DNF it, and I didn't, and I'm so glad I didn't. And that was this one. In fact, I liked it so much when I finally finished it, I immediately reread it. But it's a hard book. And my buddy read it with Aaron Facer and I think some other people, but. Any examples like that where you didn't DNF? No.
not on the top of my head. No.
Let me see. I don't think this year.
I DNF'd Fourth Wing. I DNF'd Ohio. I should go back and try to read those someday, especially Ohio. But I'm from Ohio.
Ohio. I know Brian like Ohio too.
Everyone seemed to. I'm from Ohio, and I don't know. I thought the characters were predictable and like a high school thing reunion. Like I'd make a joke and say I liked it better when it was the big chill, but
yeah, I guess the Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. That was from when was that? June of this year. But that was because one, it's like probably the shortest of Ernest Hemingway's books, and my husband likes his books and knows a lot about him just because my husband has multiple history degrees, and Ernest Hemingway fought in World War I, and it's kind of like if you are a history buff, you have heard at least some or all of Ernest Hemingway's stories about World War I, and then why that kind of basically messed him up for the rest of his life. So then he was giving me a lot of information on The Sun Also Rises, and so I finished it. I didn't rate it. I don't know if that's a book that I could ever rate. I can't. It's like it's good and bad at the same time, but I understand why, for a lot of the reasons why he wrote that book. It was really like it's for himself and his fellow friends that have also been traumatized, not what you would say to market. So
yeah, I've read it. Well, was it college? And then listened to the audiobook. And I've been meaning to reread that book.
Mm-hmm.
I have it on my Kindle. I'll probably eventually get around to it, but it's not super high priority.
Yeah, I like Hemingway, and one of my
I like his short stories better than his novels.
Oh yeah, I like Up in Michigan.
See, that's like a story that I don't even remember.
It mentions the Toledo Blade is why I like it. The newspaper from Toledo.
I know,
but it's a popular short story. That's I
don't think it holds a candle to A Clean, Well-Lighted Place.
Right, I love that
Soldier's Home, Short Happy Life of Francis Maycomber.
Yep.
Hills Like White Elephants.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Kilimanjaro.
Snows of Kilimanjaro is another good one.
But one of my highest rated videos, I think 4,000 views or something, is a Ken Burns, Ernest Hemingway episode 3 video or some BS like that. I don't know why it gets so many hits. Like my old father.
My guess is someone has to write a college paper on Ken Burns, and they're going through and say, let's see if this guy on YouTube can help me.
College or grade school. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my highest viewed video, what is it at now? It's Poetry 101, how to write free verse poetry. It's at, what is it? 33,000.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I get nothing out of it, as in here's all the examples of my poetry and all that stuff, and my poetry will do anything. So views don't equal sales or merch buys or anything like that. Just a reminder to everyone struggling. But they were.
Was this a video about your how to write free verse, or were you using other writers' examples?
I was. It's less than 15 minutes, and I used my own poetry just because copyright. I don't want to get hit. Not like that would. I don't know. And that was. Yeah, that was 5 years ago. But I have a lot of comments that say, thank you so much. I know how to write free verse poetry for my English class. Thank you. So they're looking up how to write poetry, and mine pops up, and we love to see it.
Yep.
Go for it, babes.
Let's get some comments down because we're a little behind the comments. Libro says The Road and No Country for Old Men are two of McCarthy's most accessible. They were also filmed. I think that helps people read them.
I like it as a book. No Country for Old Men is the first line of Yeats's Sailing to Byzantium. But I enjoyed the book a lot. But I don't want to digress.
The Mild Rumpus is here. Hello.
Hey, Mild Rumpus. How's Broadway?
The character reminded me of Paul Newman in Cool Hand Luke. And Jack Nicholson in 5 Easy Pieces.
Oh, great movie.
Yep. Just can't DNF and break her heart.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, which is why I rarely do tags, follow book awards or trends. I read what I want to read out of a strong desire or curiosity. Like last night, I rewatched the excellent film, The Year of Living Dangerously. I've had the book for 8 years and finally decided to read it and started this morning, enjoying it.
That's about Cambodia, isn't it?
One of those Asian uprisings.
Yeah, about journalists over there. That's a great movie.
Elaine says Fourth Wing, really? I'm just getting into it and hoping to finish next week.
Yeah, I didn't like all the I thought she overused a lot of words of describing sex scenes, and it just got old for me.
Yeah, that's romantasy for you.
Well, when we get to the books I've read, I have a romantasy to talk about.
Romantasy. Hey, Flossie.
Libro, I enjoyed For Whom the Bell Tolls and Death in the Afternoon. Oh, I forgot Flossie. Hi, Floss.
Hi.
Excuse me. And Brian got here just in time for the Hemingway talk.
Ah, yes.
Hannah, I haven't read Hemingway in years, but A Movable Feast is the one I really loved.
Oh yeah, in Paris. That's
I might
don't even think I have any Hemingway books to hold up. I know I used to have The Sun Also Rises and Movable Feast and the others.
Brian says The Movable Feast is so good. I think Fitzgerald's parts are uncomfortable, though. I don't remember the Fitzgerald parts, honestly, so that's why I have to reread it. Oh, Indonesia.
Oh.
Is where Year of Living Dangerously is about. Kevin, I enjoyed the first book of Stella Maris that took place in New Orleans. McCarthy can really set a location nicely.
I haven't read that yet either. I'd like to.
Yeah, a lot of people were proclaiming his final books, which was Stella Maris and it's gonna come to me in a minute.
Passage.
What? Passenger.
Passenger.
They said it's like one of his best books, and I just thought it was just him, an old man rambling, sitting at a table spewing ideas.
Yeah, I don't think Brian liked it either.
Now Brian didn't like it either. A lot of people did, but those are the McCarthy bros. We think there's no better author than Cormac McCarthy. Christopher's, hey, Christopher.
Hey, Christopher.
Hey, Brian agrees with me about Cormac McCarthy.
Huh?
But you should read Nicole. You should read The Road. I mean, it's a good place to start.
Yeah. Give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, there's things in it I'll never forget.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it. So.
Yeah. I still prefer Blood Meridian, and I know I'm going to get some heat for this, but I like Child of God.
Oh God, that's the most horrendous book I've ever read.
It is horrendous book, but I liked it.
Oh my God, man, that's such a. I think I'm going to be sick thinking about it.
I think that's part of why I liked it is that I know I have this very dark and macabre side to me that just likes.
You got to send it to Bad.
What?
Bad should read.
Bad is rad. Yeah, we got to get her to read Child. I might have to reread that again with her.
You know who turned me on to that book? Oprah.
That's not an Oprah book.
I know, but she was talking about it with him, or she interviewed him one time. Great interview, but.
All right, Nicole. Any other books you want to mention, or we should move on to Alan?
I think Alan. Throw it to Alan.
All right, let's go to Alan. What do you? I know at least one book you've been reading, Alan.
Against the Day.
Against the Day.
Yeah, and then we finished Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah, I read that one. Yeah.
And getting ready to sink my teeth into more Lovecraft. In fact, Christopher and I are going to watch The Color Out of Space and maybe some other films. I really like that short story. Let me get my Kindle if I can find it. Because, I'm going to start with Book Chat with Pat, Leonard, and Hungry Paul, which might end up, I doubt it, but it might end up being my favorite book of the year. It's pretty popular. Brand new book. I got a lot of books today. I've had this book, Robert Anton Wilson. I've had this book about 2-3 times, and I've read it a lot. It's like Finnegan's Wake companion, but and much more. His books are a trip, so I can't wait to get back into that. Because Roy at Roy Reads Anything and I have an announcement. We're going to be reading Finnegan's Wake next year, just over a span of a couple months, 2-3 months. He found online a 2-part format to read it, not necessarily in order. That's not the way to read it, but in like episodes, and I think it's really interesting. I'm glad he found it. Then last, you and I, Greg, are going to buddy read this someday next year. But I'm going to do some.
We are going to do that next year.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay,
it's a fast read. It's fast, but I'm going to do. I have several other Tom Robbins books. I'm going to do a video on him. I've been reading him since like junior high, and he's 92 now, still alive.
Oh, cool! Did you wrote it? You wrote him a letter.
Yeah, I did, because I have a friend, Patricia H. She comments a lot on people, and she gave me a P.O. box, and I wrote that, and then it came back. The post office isn't even there anymore, and I went online, and there was people who said, if you want to write this P.O. box. So I tried it again, and keep my fingers crossed. I used to write a lot of authors, and then I'd frame the responses. Anne Rice, Stephen King.
Alan, I have never wrote an author in
No.
my life.
Harry Cruz and I used to correspond, and I wrote John Updike. I never got his autograph, but I was talking to you today about getting stuff in the mail. I've always, as a kid, I just loved getting stuff in the mail all the time. Magic tricks, whatever. You know, just run home and mailman's here. But that's about all I've been reading or thinking of reading.
Okay.
How
Well,
about you?
well, I'm in a book group that was started by MJ, Reading This Life, called I'm with the Band. And hold on for 1 second. And we are reading banned books.
Mhm.
And as everyone knows, that the state of Utah banned all the books by Sarah J. Maas. So we decided we're going to read some of them. And 2 months ago, we read A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Mhm.
And today I just finished the second in the series for the group.
Oh, the best one.
A Court of Mist and Fury.
That's a good one. That's the best one.
The thing is, it's not literature by any
No.
sense of, and there,
It's very smut. That's what it is. It's very smut. Yeah. You got that. You need some fairy, you need some smut. Combine them together. That's Sarah J. Maas.
Well, the thing is, it's there are parts of that book which are exciting and interesting. It's not groundbreaking fantasy.
Yeah.
But a lot of the romance elements just really got under my skin. And I just, if I had been reading the book, I would have taken it and I've hurled it across the room.
Wow.
I mean, and it's not a spoiler, or not a huge spoiler, but there is this thing in this fantasy world where two people can find their mates.
Twin flame.
Which is not just a normal relationship. This special bond between two people that just goes beyond a normal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going like, just can't you be two people together? Does it have to have this magical bonding element? And
well,
I guess
extra special.
Yeah, it's like the play on true love. Like you have that one person, and so like you just play it up. It's a big thing in romance, especially paranormal romance, and now it's in romantic fantasy, because they have that in the werewolf romances, and they're werewolves but fated mates. That's a huge trope that a lot of people really, really love. I can take it or leave it. I don't particularly care, but I think it adds more drama. And if you're wanting romance and there is or you like or love the idea of there's one person just for you, then yeah.
And you have to find that everyone has their person in the world. Maybe you're together, maybe you're not. Well, I don't know. I just found it horribly cliched.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about soulmates here, but I can attest to twin flames. I've had one since third grade, and we keep meeting at fifth-year reunions, and we go away for 20, 30 years, come back together. It's kind of weird. And she still sent me a box of stuff just a few months ago. Still getting stuff after 6 years.
So anyway, I finished it. I can understand the appeal to younger people. I think it really appeals to young people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you got this young woman. She's got lots of, I hate this word, powers. Oh, I've got powers, and I'm going like, you're like going to have a superhero comic book or something, you know. But I guess I like my fantasy a little more subtle, where you can have a world where extraordinary things happen, but it's not so upfront. It's
Yeah.
it's I mean, Nicole, yeah, you do sort of write in the fantasy genre, kind of.
Urban fantasy, mystery, and historical fantasy. I don't create my own worlds, so it's not like that's hers is like people are gonna get really upset, but like hers is kind of sort of like epic fantasy because all of that is made up. It's not set in the past or the present or even like a futuristic real life world that happens to have like fantasy stuff in it. It's all made up. Like of course there's elements that is similar to real life because that's just how that's going to go. But technically, it's like it's epic fantasy, but it's romantasy because if you took out the romance bits, then you don't have a full story. So that's how you can figure out if it's a romance or if it's a love story or a romantic fiction book and there's other elements that comes into play. But if you take out the romance, what do you have? And so a lot of people will say when they're like authors, when they're saying, well, should I market this as a romance? And if you took out this romance, do you still have a complete story? And a lot of times people are like, yeah, it's a complete story, then it's not a romance, capital R. And you're going to get a lot of romance readers upset with you. And it also, and these are the romance beats. They meet, they get together, something breaks them up, and they have a happily ever after. And you need a happily ever after, or else it is not a capital R romance. So that happens in this book, though she does.
This ended in a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
happily ever. Yeah, if it's a series, it can be a happily ever after for now, but they do spoiler, not really a spoiler. If you read romance, they get together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure the I'm with the Band group is going to decide to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I will continue. No, the reason I'm going to say it is that Audible had the audiobooks on sale, and they were like under $4 each.
Well, that's naughty, Greg, because I have all those books. You're reading some nice. You're reading some graphic stuff, or not? You're listening to the graphic stuff.
Now the thing is, now here's a curious thing. When I because we're doing this on the app Fable,
Mm-hmm.
and you mark your book as read on Fable, and they usually how many stars do you give it? But this is the first time I've seen this. It says as a romance book, how spicy was it?
Oh, spice! Yeah, the chili
Spice level, and they had a couple choices, and they usually have icons. I forgot what the first one. There were like 4 icons: a regular icon, a red chili pepper, a flame, and something else.
Oh.
So I marked it as a 2 spice level. I don't know. Are they spicier than that, or is it?
Oh yeah, there's way spicy.
You think it's way spicy?
Well, Sarah J. Maas, it's like mid spicy because there are a lot of spicy.
Well, he describes body parts touching body parts. So
yeah, or just like the smexy scenes go on for like 20 pages, whereas this one is like 5 to 10. Yeah, I mean it includes how long it is, details. Yeah, you can get really really spicy. It's romantasy, but there's also like I think 5 hot chili peppers is basically erotic. No, it is erotica. So this isn't erotica. There is a story there. Whether people like the story or not, different matter. Erotica is just like a very basic plot around Smexy time. But
Now I read what I call naughty westerns, which
Oh.
which are essentially, it's a western, and you have a typical western plot, and then all of a sudden this chapter where the cowboy gets laid. And it has nothing to do with the plot. As I said, he's getting some,
Yeah.
and then it goes on with the rest. And if you cut out those parts, it would be just a western.
Yeah. Are those like pulp westerns?
Yeah, well, they were popular. The ones that I have in paperback were published in the 80s.
Yeah.
So
they know their audience, and they're
it's a male audience. About 95%.
They're putting that. See, men can read Smexy stuff too. I don't know if it's that popular nowadays, but that was also for like crime and mystery, like those pulp ones, like the Outlanders. I think it's the Outlanders, where there's like 20 books and multiple writers were writing in that series, and they were churning out books like every couple months, but it was younger men that wanted to see themselves through the main character, and there were quite a few sexy scenes in there.
I've been muted. I've been saying, help her out, Greg. You know what she's talking about.
I think they're highly entertaining. It's when your brain is just mush. You want to read something. He's like, pick up one of these naughty westerns. Gunfights and sex scenes. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I don't see a problem for writers that want to write for entertainment purposes. I know some people are like, that's disgusting. It should always be for art. I'm like, you know what? Some people are working 80 hours a week, and they just want a Smexy western, and they want to relax in their bubble bath. Okay, just let it go. You don't need to read them.
That's fine too.
Yes.
Yeah, I know a lot of. I know a guy who made his living writing like erotic, male erotic, like bathhouse New York City stuff. And I read some of it. It was good writing, but it was like a total subculture, and I can name a handful of prison novels that are not something I would write myself, but that I found interesting and read.
Yep. So, Brian was talking about you're reading Leonard and Hungry Paul. Hannah, have all been following the adjuster story. The suspect in the insurance CEO story, his Goodreads account is getting a lot of it. No, I have not.
No, that's over my head.
I have not even heard about that. I've heard about the CEO being murdered, but not heard anything else about that.
Yeah, they captured the guy apparently, but
yeah, I'm really kind of curious what's gonna come down in that case. And I was talking to my wife about it last night. We're having some pizza, and my best guess, and I don't have any insider information, is that this guy knew someone who had an insurance claim denied. Like medication denied or surgery denied, and the person died. Because we live in a country that is for-profit medicine, and it was a text on Blue Sky. It's really kind of interesting. They had a list. It's like, these are the countries where people have filed bankruptcy due to medical bills. And they went through like all the normal, like Norway, England, Japan, all these countries had zero. Oh. And then they get to the United States, and you had like 648,000 people had to declare bankruptcy due to medical bills.
Yeah.
So
Rough. Mm.
here's Kevin. Alan, however your camera is set up now, remember it, the book titles aren't backwards.
I haven't touched. I don't know. It's
Well, Alan, when you do a video, you record your videos.
yeah,
on
my
your
phone.
camera, right?
Yeah, I'm on the laptop now.
Oh, you're on your laptop now.
Yeah.
Oh.
But-
There is a setting somewhere on your phone where you have to click it, and it'll make sure that your titles are not reversed on your
Yeah,
final
it's a
video.
mirror.
What?
It's a mirror option.
Yeah, it's the mirror option. Now, the odd thing is when you're recording it, it's going to be backwards.
Okay.
But when you actually publish it, it won't be backwards.
Okay.
I've
Mirror.
been meaning to tell you about that forever, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll look for that. Thanks.
Liechtenstein 770 from Canada. Hello.
Oh, Canada.
James, quite in Curious Volumes. I tried to find his Goodreads account. It's not available anymore, probably for the best. Oh, he's talking about Hannah. Like to say hello from Ontario. Elaine has not started yet a Court of Thorns and Roses.
I have a question for Liechtenstein about
Okay,
the
what?
770. Why is there any specific reason you have a 770 on there? Because I use that number frequently myself for a reason. Just let me know in the comments if there is. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I haven't touched fantasy for some time. I've been on a pulp sci-fi kick. That can be fun too.
Oh yeah.
Bad is here. Hello, Bad. I'm cool, Alan. Puff the Magic Dragon. We were talking about you earlier. Maybe your ears were burning when we were talking about you.
Nicole.
We have a recommendation for you.
I don't know who he's talking to, you or me. I don't know.
No, I'm talking to Bad is Rad.
Oh.
We were talking about her earlier. Child of God.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cormac McCarthy. It
Yeah,
is. Alan says he still gets shudders reading, thinking about this book.
Yeah, it's one of the most terrific books I've ever read.
So, Bad, if you want to know more about it, Voxer me afterwards. I'll give you the lowdown.
Yeah.
Hi, Nicole and Greg. Hi, out everyone. Bad says Succubi is a romance story. No, it's not a romance story. We buddy read this earlier in the. I guess it was last week, not this. This is Monday. This is Edward Lee. Nicole, are you familiar with the author Edward Lee?
I haven't read any of his books. I have, I think, one on my TBR for next year.
He is a horror author. He is like one of the very early extreme horror authors that just likes to throw sex and gore into the story. And the thing is, he actually does it pretty well. I read one book last week called No One Rides for Free by what was her name? It was a novella that I picked up on Kindle Unlimited, and it was just, she mentioned that she had wanted to write a novella in 10 days, and it read like something that someone had wrote in 10 days.
God, with the title "Nobody Rides for Free" reminds me of gas or grass. Nobody rides for free. Remember that?
I know, but this was entertaining. He's just got an interesting way to tell stories. And I mean, I have to talk about this in my wrap-up video that I'm going to record tomorrow, so everyone will learn more about it later. But
that's good.
Do you know, Nicole, which book you're going to be reading by him?
It's on my wish list. Let me see.
I want to see if I know that one.
Let me see. Where'd it go? Oh, we've got Flesh Gothic.
I've read that one.
That's what I got for 2025. I have a really popular video. It's what is it? Top 10 most disturbing books you need to read. I think that's at like 7,000 views or something. And people kept asking, or just kind of just saying, where is Edward Lee? I'm like, well, I haven't read him yet, so I'm not gonna lie and say that he's on the list if I haven't read him. So
Hold on for a second.
yeah, I've heard of him, haven't read him, therefore he's not on the list yet.
I've read Flesh Gothic. It's not the best novel he's written. It was written when he was being published by Leisure Books, which was a mainstream horror publisher. And they really toned him down for like the supermarket audience. If you want to get down and dirty and gross, The Big Head.
The Big Head. Yeah, because
now this is gross. I mean, this is just Kim throwing everything to the wall and seeing what will stick and drip down.
Yeah, the Messed Up Book Club that I'm part of, we've already planned out all of the books for 2025, but I forget who said Flesh Gothic.
Okay.
I have no idea. We'll see.
All right.
There's I know there's a lot of Jack Ketchum.
Ketchum off season.
Yeah.
The Girl Next Door is for
Girl Next Door is another one. All right. I'm skipping through some of the people saying hi to each other in comments because they're saying hi to each other. That I like my romance novels like a ghost chili pepper. Hot. But honestly, is it too much to ask for an erotic novelization of Will Smith's Wild Wild West?
Why not? So there might be copyright issues. So
right. Well, you know something. All you have to do is change the name to Bill Jones or something like that. And a couple of changes, and you'll be fine. You can write your own. John Q. I'm not sure. Horror Babe, I have UHC Oxford Liberty Insurance.
I've never heard that before. Oh, maybe it's from Oxford.
I mean, I used to work for a Medicare insurance company, so.
Wow.
When I was a programmer. And let me just tell you, there is so much waste in the insurance company. I think I've told this story. Is like I was paying physicians to get bonuses for how many patients they see.
Oh, wow.
And so, I had an accountant send me this list of how to pay what the doctors did and how to pay them. And one of them is like they get yearly training, but if you work with more than one company, each company has to pay a portion of that training. Yeah. So they say, here's the formula to divide the numbers up between the company. And I came back. I said, okay, I used your formula. Due to rounding errors out of these 4,000 physicians, there is a 7-cent discrepancy. Is that okay? And she came back, and this is the lead accountant says, no.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, okay, well, I'm using your formula. What do you want me to do? And she said, well, can you think of, so I came up with a new formula to deal with the rounding error. So that took me like 3 hours in testing. Then she had to approve it. And then we had to get it approved by the vice president of that division. And because there was a vice president involved, my supervisor had to be there. Now, are you getting the idea how many hours it took to solve a 7-cent discrepancy?
Oh yeah.
And me being the mid-level programmer, I was probably close to the lowest paid person on that list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're talking $1,000 to fix
Mm.
7-cent error.
I worked for an insurance company as like for debt. I only worked there less than a year, but I know how to skip trace people and look them up and find how much money they have on their house and if there's a lien and stuff on it. We'd send nasty letters to them. Some people were good at getting the money in. I wasn't all that good at it, but boring.
So Novel Finds asks, what are you currently reading? Have you mentioned anything else?
I forgot I did a video today, but I mean I've been reading this, Waiting for Godot, and saw the play yesterday with a group of people here in Portland, Oregon. Really cool. Going to go see it again too this week. I know you like this play a lot, Greg.
I do.
Yeah, I mean I can't stop thinking about it a lot because it's one thing to read it, and then I've been reading it since junior high school, and then I had Beckett workshops in graduate school, and I never seen it live, but I've seen it like on YouTube and Steve Martin and Robin Williams. There's scenes of them doing it, but makes you really think. But I don't want to digress into that. And we kind of already said what we were reading.
Yeah, I have a couple. They want to learn more. If we're currently reading, I'm also doing Joe Nesbo, The Redbreast.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
It's a guy.
Norwegian.
He's Norwegian. This is been called the best Norwegian crime novel written.
Right.
I'm not sure I will say it's the best Norwegian or Scandinavian crime. It's a pretty good one. It's a long one. It's like 650 pages long, so it's very detailed.
Yeah.
But there are two storylines. One is in basically Leningrad in 1944, and you know what was going on in Leningrad in 1944, and there's a connection to modern day Norway in the early in the year 2000. So it's all drawing connections between history and crimes being set. I'm enjoying it well enough, but I don't think it's going to make the top of my list for crime novels.
Mm. Yeah, so this girl who doesn't make videos anymore, Celia. She was really cool and a friend of mine in Norway. I think she moved to Brussels and who knows, maybe got married, but she liked him a lot.
He's pretty good. This is the second book I've written by him. Not written by, read by him. The first was a crime novel. It was actually set in Australia. Oddly enough, I picked it up. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for some Scandinavian noir." And they start the story, and he's in Sydney, Australia. So not quite. I mean, not quite. I mean, the character's Norwegian, but it's not a Norwegian setting. Hannah, it seems like the shooter was motivated by the issue, but his politics are sort of all over the place. He loved reading about the Unabomber, various perspectives on capitalism, etc.
Oh, and he had a Goodreads account, huh?
I guess someone said it was taken down already.
I'm sure.
Yeah, here's Novel Finds. What 26-year-old's politics aren't all over the place?
Mine weren't.
Mine weren't. Oh, best. Oh, crap. I just sold that book on Pango.
I was a deputy registrar when I was in college and early into politics. I was 26.
He's currently reading Graham Greene's Brighton Rock. That's a good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you need to read about an ice barbarian or two. I've read the first book in that series. I guess the mate thing is in that book too. I don't see a lot of men writing about that theme. Maybe that's just a women writing theme.
There are like a couple of male romance writers, but no, it's usually women or non-binary, or there are probably men that use a pen name.
Yes.
So you can't 100% tell, especially if they have like a cartoon or their logo as their profile picture. So they there might be more, but they're not revealing their
Right.
their real name and stuff.
Now, Steve Donahue is one of the few men who actually admits to reading romance novels.
Well, you said that you read romance novels.
I read the fantasy romantasy I don't pick them up normally.
Yeah, I don't really either, other than Sarah J. Maas.
Well,
Have you read the whole series?
Yeah, I have all of her books. Yes.
Is that, you said that was one of the better ones? Second?
Yeah, I think the second one is great, and then the third one is like 3.5 stars. It was fine. And then you get to Nesta's really chunky monkey, almost 900-page book, and it was really good. And I'm not like a huge fan of Nesta, but Nesta deals with her trauma.
Okay.
So,
I just encountered her trauma in this book.
She's kind of nasty, not in a smutty way, but nasty and like, could you be nice to anyone? No? Okay, Nesta. Okay. That's how that goes.
I guess
But
Elaine is the nice one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting for Elaine. That's an interesting one.
I don't know what that story has not, because I'm wondering where she's going to go with this story. I mean, the first book, you thought she had one romance, and then it's a different one. Honestly, I thought she was going to switch romantic leads in every book, just like swap romantic leads. And
yeah, she does it differently than basically everyone else does. She can write whatever she wants at this point and bestseller. She kind of breaks the norm. So what you're thinking makes sense, but for Sarah J. Maas, she can do whatever she wants.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not, you can't, like, there are things that like really have to be there for romantasy, but when you're looking at like, but basically all the other romantasy writers, they have to do it just like kind of everyone else, which is, if you have a series, then it's different romances with a happily ever after. Yeah, but she does it differently.
I think that's what the Ice Planet Barbarians is like. I mean, I only read the first one. Someone, it was Christopher who mentioned the Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yeah, I think that, there's a trend for just romance where it's a series and they're like, you start with one couple and then it's their friends or their family members, and then it follows that, and it's a theme. So Ruby Dixon's Ice Barbarians, they're all Ice Barbarians, but they're different Ice Barbarians, you know.
And a different leading lady, I guess.
Yeah, or man, yeah.
Man. Oh, so there's men with the Ice Planet Barbarians.
Well, it will be a different couple every time.
Okay.
Yeah. it's complicated, Greg.
I'll pick it up. Maybe I'll pick it up for Garbogast again. I think the guy they caught had some kind of injury back in the past. Also, valedictorian of his high school class. Oh, Alan's here. Here's Liechtenstein, Alan. 3 reasons for the 770. It's the number for my favorite section of the Dewey Decimal System. Okay, what is that section?
Oh,
IDK.
I don't know either. It is believed to be a definitive number reminding people to breathe, so to speak.
Yeah, and just real quick in gematria, it's part of my autograph. I've been signing 770 in gematria, Jewish mysticism. It equals out to agape, Greek, for like love. So I'm just wondering. Thanks.
Bad did sell Child of God, it sounds like. Oh, well.
Is it good? It's an experience.
It's an experience, indeed. 77, which is my lucky number, was taken into laughing mightily out. The big head, fabulous story, and intense extremes of horror. Good night, Brian. You're probably already gone by now.
My big Rage Biscuit.
The mockumentary "A Mighty Wind" by Christopher Best is based on Waiting for Godot.
I didn't know that. I've heard of that. I like Christopher.
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it. It's like it's take on folk singers, or they're all folk singers instead of like Spinal Tap was rock.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't know.
So they're like Pete Seeger and stuff. I haven't seen it though.
So Novel Finds is nice on the Norwegian crime. That really sounds fascinating. Has anyone read The Redeemer by Nesbo? That was my favorite of the ones I read. I have not read that one yet.
No.
Yeah, I mean, my friend who doesn't have BookTube anymore, I asked her, like, I wanted to read a Norwegian book because that's where she's from, and she recommended some by him, crime novels.
I find it so interesting that crime novels are so popular in Scandinavia when they actually have a very low crime rate in real life.
Good point. Because they're so smart over there, and they like to, I don't know why, like they involve stories. And damn, what? Like I don't know. I'm thinking about making a video about how to make a cigarette lighter out of a vitamin bottle or just a plastic bottle, 3 paper clips, and a small pencil lead, very small, and put it under the muse of like crime fiction, like a MacGyver thing, and then plug it in. You need a socket, but you plug it in a socket and it will light up. If you're in a that's Teddy, isn't it?
Tibby.
Oh, Tibby,
Tibby is my ADD cat. She has an attention span of a gnat.
I like her coloring.
What?
I like her coloring. It's like it's kind of almost half and half.
She's got the tan and the black. She's a tortie. She's got what they say tortitude. She's got a lot of personality.
What's a tortie?
It's just a breed of cat. Yeah, the 2 colors.
Oh.
Yeah. They're very independent,
Mm-hmm.
very talkative. She's always coming up to me and telling me something. Like she's walking around my feet yelling, meow, meow. And I pick her up and she goes, meow, put me down. Pick me up, put me down.
Keep on your toes.
Mm-hmm. Novel says, what's the cat's name? Tibby, Tibby. We did not name her. We adopted her when she was about 8 months old. And the name was fine. I mean, we did adopt some cats from the shelter, and one of them was named Morticia. And I'm going,
Tisha Adams. Was it a black cat?
no, she was a fluffy cat. But the thing is, when you go in there, is in the cat room, they had a Wednesday, they had a Morticia, and they had a Pugsley. So we know what happens is someone drops off a litter of kittens at the shelter, and they don't have names, and they just go, "We got to give all these kittens cat," and they just write names down at random, because they go like kitten number 1.
Yeah. Then they get used to it, and
they do.
Yeah, or they don't get used to it, and then you can change the name. There was a middle school teacher that adopted a cat and named it Dog.
Oh.
And I would why? That was kind of the worst I've heard. What's going on here? A lot of things. She was interesting. Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, my wife and I took in one of our colleagues' pets. We took 2 of her pets. He had a dog named Chaz.
That's cute.
And it is, but the story was he and his wife had a baby with a heart problem, and the baby needed a heart transplant, an infant heart transplant. And the doctor says you can't have any pets in the house when the baby goes home. So we agreed to take the dog, and he's dropping the dog off. He called, I'm going to drop off the dog today. He says, I have a cat. Can you take the cat too? And said, okay, we'll take the cat. And he dropped the cat and put the cat in the shelter. What's the cat's name? And he goes, Kitty.
Imaginative.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like he put a lot of so we just switched some vowels and started calling her Katie. So she had sort of like a the cat really didn't understand that her name had been changed that much. So. But she was a tortie like Tibby there. She's a good cat too. Elaine says, great chat. Off to read some Lovecraft. Have a great one. Thanks for dropping by, Elaine. Have you read a lot of Lovecraft, Nicole, or is that not something you've ever read?
I listened to a free reading of something. Oh snap! The Color of Something or Other.
Colorado Space.
Yes, and that was fine, but yeah, I'm not huge into H.P. Lovecraft. I've tried, but I can't.
He has a unique style that either you can accept, or you're not. Yeah. You're going like, this is way too outdated for me.
Yeah, that's basically me.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Good point, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff says Nicole Sparks writes romance. Yes, he does.
Well, he writes romantic fiction.
Is that a different thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That follows the 7 laws of Aristotle: unity of time, unity of place, unity of. Never mind.
Oh, Nicholas Sparks is like The Notebook and
right.
Dear John. Like they all die at the end.
Not a
It's
happy
not
ending.
a happily ever after. Even in the Notebook, it's not good enough for romance writers. He is a romantic fiction writer. He doesn't want to get those bad reviews from readers saying, "You killed him at the end. Die, Nicholas Sparks," because they would do that. Yeah. If it's not exactly to the beats and expectations of romance, they will throttle you. So he's like, I'm a romantic fiction writer. I don't write romance. Please don't read my book if you want to have a happy, good time. It's like like a lot of them are forbidden love stories, or like it's a love story and then there's like sadness at the end. Yeah.
Never read anything by Nicholas Sparks, and probably won't unless it gets on the banned books list and I got to read one.
I'm sure
he is banned somewhere.
Oh yeah, really, because it's so depressing.
So sugary.
Hannah, I need to get going. Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah.
Patrick dropped in.
Patrick, my friend Patrick. That's he's part of the Messed Up Book Club.
Okay.
I wonder if he's still around. Patrick, who suggested Flesh Gothic? I don't know. I didn't, but I have no idea.
I'm just curious. I mean, I've read some Edward Lee, and in Flesh Gothic would not top my list of his books. Maybe it's because they had read a lot of Edward Lee and they had not read Flesh Gothic, and they decided, I'm going to recommend one that I haven't read.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the Messed Up Book Club has read Edward Lee. So I think it's just like, what's the highest rated? But I think when you go on Amazon, all of Edward Lee's books, there's like, it's borderline 4 stars. And when you get past like a certain point, I think it's 4 or not 4. I think it's at 4.7 or not. Why do I keep saying 4? If it's at 4.7, then it really takes off a lot of the filling of the stars, and almost all of Edward Lee's books are borderline. So Amazon does weird rating systems, and I've noticed basically almost all horror writers do not have full filled in stars. It's like always borderline 4 or 3.9 because people are like, this is too much for me. I'm like, do you read horror though? Maybe you shouldn't.
Maybe you should understand that when it's a horror book, sometimes it gets nasty and violent.
Yeah.
No, I guess there are some cozy horror ghost stories. They do exist.
Oh yeah, that's niche. Yeah. If you follow the idea that ghosts can't touch you or move things, then really like what can they do is like they flicker light and they might show up and give you a jump scare, but that's not enough to be scary or boring.
I like the rules regarding Dracula are different depending on certain things, like some say you have to invite him into a house, things like that. What else?
He turns into animals.
Stoker's rules.
Well, if you're writing about Dracula, the character, you probably should follow the original rules by Bram Stoker. But if you're writing just a generic vampire story, I guess all bets are off.
You just take off flying and.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. I followed the ones that I like.
You see, I was going to write a vampire story at one point. And I decided if I was going to have a vampire, I wanted to break it down just to the simplest elements. Vampires are undead creatures that drink blood. And that's all you get. You don't get supernatural powers. You don't get transformations. You're just an undead body that drinks blood. And then I started thinking about it. If you were a dead body you have very limited things you could do. How do you breathe? I mean, how do you talk? You need to exhale air when
Mhm.
you're talking, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a vampire, you're not breathing. How are you going to talk?
Yeah. That's why like it's hard to get basic stuff if you're doing like world building, and that's why I think a lot of writers expand and come up with new stuff. Like in my world, it's a poison that that turns you into a vampire, but you have to be fully bled out, and the poison goes in, and then you have to drink that uh, the sire's blood, and then it takes a long time. But you're not undead, and now you're like a magical creature. So yeah, there's especially with like the things that pop out. It's like think of a snake. It has sockets, and they can pop them in and out, and that's where I got the venom. Yeah, it's not poison, it's venom. I get those mixed up, whatever. The venom pops out just like a snake, and it takes a long time. Whereas, there's some where it's like in a couple hours you're a vampire.
Huh.
It takes a little longer. Like I want my vampires to take a little longer than like a couple hours, right? But it just depends on the writer and your world building.
Well, I have to throw a technicality in here because if you go by like real snakes or scorpions, even like the smaller and younger they are, the more powerful they are because they don't know how to control the flow of venom.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
know that through my father being stung by scorpions like 100 times.
Yeah.
The
They don't know
doctors,
what they're doing. Yeah.
he's immune to them now, but
Ooh.
scorpions, not vampires.
So Novel says, I adopted a cat named Pistol and had to rename him, of course.
Just yeah.
His brother's name was Bushwhacker.
Unfortunate.
Fortunately, I don't think cats care too
No.
much what their name is. Although they do recognize their name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Colorado Space Nicole.
Mhm.
Patrick says, I think it was you or Brian. I think he's referring to who suggested Flesh Gothic.
Yeah, I never heard of Edward Lee before, so it must be Brian, the other person in the Messed Up Book Club. We powered through. We have 24 books now.
That's cool. How long has your club been going on? 2 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it started just the three of us. And now we have four. We have Sorina, who jumps in now. She's new. And then there's Nathan, who jumps in occasionally. It just depends on what the book is. So sometimes 5, usually
Cool.
4. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite for your Messed Up Book Club?
I think everyone really enjoys Chandler Morrison. So we've read all of his books. And I think probably, Dead Inside started it all.
That's a seriously messed up book.
Yeah, Dead Inside started it. Now we're here 2 years later.
Yeah, Bad as Rad gave me her copy of Chandler Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to spread it around.
Yeah.
The idea was she read it, gave it to me. I read it. I was going to give it to someone else. I offered it on my BookTube videos, and no one's taken me up on the offer to get Chandler Morrison in the mail. Oh, well.
I get that.
I guess it's my book now.
Yes, you have to have it because you can't really gift that. You can't really gift that to anyone except like very specific people.
It'd be funny if you sent it back to her in at the bottom of a box of other books.
Oh no, I'll let my estate
Deal with
deal
that.
with that. Someone going through all my books after I died. It's like, what's this one? Let's send this to a little free library.
Oh God.
Traumatized.
Exactly.
Now the thing is, part of me would really sort of like that.
Yeah, I know you would.
Now the only reason I had a book called The Secret World of the Sex Witches
Oh.
by Musadora, which is just outright erotica with some witchy stuff in there. And I was going to put it in a little free library, but I decided that, let's say someone picked it up and got really, really upset by the sexual content, it would go back onto the person who owned that little free library, who had absolutely
good point.
Nothing to do with what I put in there. And I said, I hate to abide by good taste, but I had to abide by good taste.
Yeah, well, that's good of you, Greg. Yeah. Could have got back to I can see a mother taking their kid, knocking on the door. Hey, man.
Yeah, it's in today's society, people, they're banning everything they can.
Then they find one of your bookmarks in it with your they figure out where you live somehow and come knocking on your door.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't like that now.
Yep. Christopher saying goodnight to Jess, AA, Patrick. And Eco Fro. I don't even know what he's saying there.
Eco, there's another person that has read 2 or 3 books in the Messed Up Book Club. I think his cat Garfield is on his on his keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because a little later he actually has it like a full sentence, so that might have been the kitty cat.
Cat typing.
Yeah.
It's a serious problem. 2 sometimes. And Constance 2. Okay, no. That's 2 different people. That's Christopher Sane and Constance and Patrick. Eco Fro 2 sometimes. Yeah, okay, that's what he's following in.
Mm.
Okay, Until the Sun, Full Brutal, Black Leopard, Red Wolf.
Now you're talking.
Now, that's one book that I know Alan likes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Pen Pal are my favorites so far that we have read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Marlon James a lot. I've read almost all his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I DNF'd Black Wolf, Red Leopard. I'm like, this is like literary fiction. I was not.
The novel blew me away.
Yeah.
Blew me away.
I think there were a couple people that said that particular book was the most disturbing thing ever and it should never have been written. And I'm just like,
yeah.
They need to read more. Do you read fluffy books? Like, it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah, I mean, it had like a lot of such a different arrangement of man on man, women, animal on man, 2 animals, and all this stuff. But the world building for me was just incredible. Mythology, took like African mythology and made it his own. And he's always good with vernacular and like language, especially like with Jamaican dialect and that, I think. But I buddy read
the Book of Women.
Yeah, with Courtney, and
Courtney.
She had a kind of a hard time with the violence of it, and I did too. I mean, it was really violent. Jamaican slavery, like back in the 1700s on up. I mean, it's fiction, but it was he's really original. Stuff I'd never read, and that just terrific stuff. Talk about Cormac McCarthy, like Marlon James is up there like that. Me.
I have only read History of Seven Killings.
Yeah. So you know what I mean with
Good
the
book.
Jamaican vernacular in that. I think he really nails it. Already do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Nicole, we're at an hour and 35 minutes. Do you have anything you want to add or some subject you want to talk about before we call it a night?
Oh my. Not that I can think of. This was fun.
It was
Thanks for
great
joining.
having you back. A
Yeah,
second
I
time.
was in
Thanks.
my mode of live stream. I said thanks for joining. No, it's not. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was thinking something completely different. I got used to hosting people and like interviewing people, so I had a little silly slip. But I also I think was it a year ago? I think joining you all was one of my first live streams, and that was really fun. And then we've known each other for a year, and that time flies. Let's just say that time flies.
It really, I mean, Al and I have been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
It's like amazing.
Yeah, my Faulkner in August going on 7 years.
I know. Now we have a few more. We have a few more comments. One's for Nicole.
Mhm.
We'll get that in just a minute. Novel says, "What are your thoughts on Nathaniel West?" I love the Cool Million.
I have never heard of him before. Sorry.
He was 30s, 40s,
Oh, yeah, that's why. I don't read older books.
but it is a hilarious book.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially there's a main character. I forgot his name, and it's like a novella. It's like 120 pages,
Oh.
and every chapter he loses a body part.
Oh, man.
And
Monty
his
Python.
companion is an ex-president of the United States that's become homeless.
Mm.
So way different country from where we are now, but really funny. I mean, if you ever see it used or a little free library, pick it up. It's not a huge effort to read, and it is rather funny. I've also read Miss Lonely Hearts and The Life of Basil Snell, which I didn't like as much as A Cool Million. Grape Jelly says, good show. Thank you, Flossie.
Thanks, Floss.
Christopher says, this is one for you, Nicole. I missed the beginning. Where is the best place to start with your books?
I have to say it depends. I write many genres. Nicole Brona is just urban fantasy mystery. So well, yeah, I guess the best, but not the closest, comp is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then add like mystery to it. So it's mainly a mystery, but also urban fantasy. And then Nicole Pierman, that's my given name, and that has my 4 poetry chat books. And then A Patriot's Tale is just straight up historical fiction set during the American Revolutionary War. And The Two Foxes is it's light historical fantasy set in the 1650s in Massachusetts Bay Colony. And then Danu's Curse is Irish historical fantasy set during the Iron Age of Ireland. So you get a little bit of everything.
We'll have to put your website in the description box, Greg. We'll put your website in the description box.
For afterwards, yeah, I'll look it up tonight,
Yeah.
and I'll just stick it in there.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Your website well, your YouTube is already in there.
Your YouTube's right there already, so
Yeah.
There's probably a link for the YouTube to your website anyway. So
yeah, I don't hide my pen names or my name. I know a lot of writers do, but I did not want to overwhelm my given name with all the urban fantasy mystery stuff, because the current series I have right now is going to be 6 books, and that would just too much for that algorithm.
You know what they call that? Like a writer who writes under another name who doesn't want to be like known in French. I like this word. Nom de plume.
Oh, it does roll off the tongue.
Yeah. I just call it a moniker. When I wrote a lot and sent shit out, I would write poetry under Agnes Mayhew, my initials, but a female, just to write stories and have people think it was written by a female. But I had one story published in a small press, back in like the 90s, I think. Anyway.
Okay. All right, everyone. Well, Nicole, again, great having you on our show. 2025. Let's have you on sometime next year again. Make it a yearly happening.
Yeah, we'll hear about what happened next month.
Oh yeah,
with your new one.
Yes, coming out. The 3rd book in the urban fantasy mystery series comes out January 3rd.
Sounds great.
It's coming fast. The 2025 year. I don't know. 2024 was slow in the beginning, and then I just got hit in the face by like a brick wall. So I don't think I'm the only one. So it was a little much this year. Hopefully, actually, I don't even know. I'm not going to jinx it.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll see how we all get through 2025.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone.
All right.
Alan, Nicole, thanks for joining. People remaining in the chat room, thanks for dropping by. Hope to see you again in a week or two.
Thanks, everyone.